Hello everybody, welcome back to Wappelville. Welcome back to Camry. I was gonna paint this thing up, and as I was looking at it, didn't realize that there's kind of like a spell effect thing that runs all the way through this. I guess it's supposed to be a dragon of some kind or serpent, whatever. Hey there, armored wolf. Yeah, I mean, if it's even coming out of his mouth there, so I guess we're gonna be doing some glowy green stuff like this. Actually, there's some of it up here too. So that really does change. We do actually have a couple of fiery things down here, so maybe we'll have a couple of different light sources going. We'll see how that works out. Hey there, Blades. Hey there, Landrast. So Landrast, yeah, I guess that Rotten Tomatoes score keeps going down for War of the Rohirrim. I don't know, is it even in any theaters to see around here, around you, Landrast? So, how you doing there, Blades? Glad I could hang out with you on stream for a little bit. Now, Armored Wolf, yeah, that whole thing where it doesn't acknowledge the file. I think there's sometimes I'll put that USB drive in there, and it will. Oh gosh, it like won't acknowledge it at all, and then I have to kind of just take the thing out of there, turn off the printer, turn it back on, which is stupid, right? That's completely stupid. I should have to do something like that. Hey there, Adrian, how you doing? Nice to see you again. So yeah, Blades. Well, at least I didn't miss the Friday stream. I missed the Monday and the Wednesday stream. At least I didn't miss the Friday one. What are we doing here? What are we doing? We're just get maybe we'll use you. Maybe we'll use this guy here. Let me get some of that floral green going. So I'm gonna have to look at my other monitor because where this monitor is, it is completely blocking the chat. I mean, I can't see nothing. There's literally just a big old camera sitting right there where the chat's supposed to be. So yeah, Blades. Now I don't know if I'd be able to get the Titan Forge folks on, but say like Medberry, Printing Goes Ever On, Kurz Look. I mean, that's literally just one person. That's just one person working. And now again, the guy from Kurzlook is from Argentina, and the guy from Printing Goes Ever On is from Poland. So those might be more difficult. And of course, Medbury Miniatures is from Australia. But the guy that did this, who's also doing a bunch of Rohan buildings, ironically enough, he's from Canada. So we might be able to, and he's going to be doing, his Rohan buildings, that's coming out in February, I think that's what he was talking about. Landrest, that stupid autofocus thing was driving me nuts. That was absolutely driving me nuts. So if you heard me maybe mention it once or twice during the video, that was me. Uh, shall we say substituting other words for words that I wanted to use? Yeah, that was a no bueno thing. That was driving me nuts. So yeah, Armored Wolf, and it's weird, right? Because the other two work. Oh, Armored Wolf. Geez, I don't even know how the heck to describe it. But I had to do this with all of those War of the Ring board game files. I Part of it is they wouldn't. Of course, the computer wouldn't download them. I had to do them one at a time, and I would bring them into this basically Windows kind of 3D editing software. And if it's surrounded by a red line around the base of it, it'll say there's errors with it, and it'll repair those. And I've noticed there's just certain guys whose files they tend to have those kind of repairs that are needed. Hey there, Grey Wolf, how you doing? Grey Wolf, lots of colorful metaphors. So Grey Wolf, yeah, I'm really glad that you've been able to. It's not the War of the Ring board game. It's the Journeys in Middle Earth, right, Grey Wolf? I think that's what it's called. And of course, Grey Wolf, if you want to post any of your stuff, there's same thing there, Blades. You want to post any of your stuff, please go ahead and do that. Um, let's see. I just so it is Journeys in Middle Earth. So Adrian, I hope that you're doing well. Happy. Wow, gee whiz, now it is almost a happy Saturday. Sorry again, it's so late. I was trying to get the prints going, but we had this weird thing where it was reasonably cold outside, but it was also sunny, which means that the furnace is not going on, and it was like 62 degrees in the basement, and so that meant I had to kind of make sure that the area was warm enough before I started doing all the printing stuff. So sorry this is so late, Groove. I know that you're gonna want to be getting to sleep soon. Oh yeah, this is fairly basic stuff that we're doing here. There is no rocket science, except this involved rocket science. There you go, the Death Star moon. There we go. So that was Mimas. That's one of the things we painted last night there, Grey Wolf. We painted that and Venus. Oh, also, speaking of object source lighting, I was assembling this Gigantor thing while I was basically on a meeting with the Conquest folks. We're going to have to be adding some of our heavy gloss gel. It's the same stuff that I used on that terrain piece, Blades. Same stuff. Geez, Blades, I was going to send you a link to the video. It's been one of them kind of days, so I'll try to send that to you tomorrow, Blades, if that's okay. You might have to remind me about that, because it's just been that sort of time. Ain't that right, Grey Wolf Studios? Well, Adrian, I'm glad that the work schedule is kind of, working out for a change. That's nice. Usually, it's almost always going to work the opposite, right? Is that, okay, that's also, so I'm just trying to track this greenish whatever stuff here that's rolling right through him. This is from Titan Forge, by the way. Oh, yeah, well, thanks for reminding myself. Here, I'm going to see if I can... Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Whoa, wait a minute, I think I already passed it up. There it is. So let's get that up there. There we go. Yeah, this is from good old Titan Forge Miniatures. Yep, there's more of it over here. Some of it down in there. So all I'm trying to do is just, well, oh, Blades, object source lighting. So yeah, those Reaper Bones miniatures, Blades Plus. Well, look at this, right? I'm starting out with the object source lighting. So if something goes wrong and I don't like it, I just say, you know what? Don't like that. I'm just gonna paint over it. So hopefully that makes it also, in addition to just maybe using some old Reaper Bones figs or something like that, you just kind of feel like, whatever. Doesn't work out exactly the way I want. No harm, no foul. So basically, this is it's either a Lich Priest or a let's say a Necrophant or something like that. I think not a not a Necromancer, but Necrotect. I think that was what the Tomb King thing was. Because obviously the Tomb Kings are all about summoning things, right, and reanimating stuff. So that is what this guy is all about here. So yeah, Grey Wolf, I think I sent you pictures of that new area. It was the physical setting up of the area. That was like the easy part. The hard part was, oh look, it's not going to let me use my my video software, or it's not going to let me use this part of it. It would let me use 99% of it, but the one part of it wouldn't let me use was so critical that, well, okay, I had to just put a whole new machine there. Then I would do that one. It's like, oh, well, here's something. That other thing, yeah, I'm going to let that work, but this other thing, I ain't going to let that work. So then another machine goes in there. Eventually, you just start running out of possibilities. So there is only one Cheese Whiz, at least that I know of, and that would be the Marion Street. Now, good news is these are 55 milliliter tubes. The less good news is that they are 15. Well, when I got them, they were 15 bucks a piece. However, and Cheese Whiz, I've got videos on it, right, where we take fluorescent powders, just like our metallic stuff, and we mix it with linseed oil, and oh look, we make our own fluorescent. So in a pinch, you can do that. That is definitely cheaper. You do also have way more control over what you're doing. But again, there's a little bit of work involved with that. Everybody, please check out the Insta link that Blades just posted. Sure. Now we do have these fiery things down here we gotta do, so let's not forget them. Let's also get some of this. Oh, geez, there's green all the way down here. Yeah, there is down here. All right, well, okay, whatever's. Cheese Whiz basically means you can make it to how you want it, which means maybe you want it to be a little bit more of a flowy thing, so you put more of the linseed oil in there, or you have it be a little bit on the drier side. It's just like when I make my own homemade texture paste. It means that I can, well, kind of get whatever texture I may want out of it, as opposed to having to just go, all right, well, this is what they did, this is what I got. So it just potentially allows you some more control over it. That's pretty much the main thing. Oh, look at that canopic. Oh, by the way, this was done as a basing video, part of my Rebuilding the Old World series. Yeah. Now, yeah, I don't know if anybody's actually seen the War of the Rohirrim movie or not. Starting to wonder if it's really at that many theaters here in the U.S. May not be. Hey there, Horns fan. How you doing? So Cheese Whiz, it's going to be probably one of the color theory and oils videos. Now, Cheese Whiz, if you have the, if you get the Army Painting Pledge, there's that website that Ryan created. You know, that search engine. So if you have the Army Painter Pledge, you should have the link to that site, because I've sent that a couple of times now to folks. But it was going to be a while back, Cheese Whiz. We're talking at least, probably, maybe, I don't want to say 2 years ago, but maybe closer to 2 years ago. But at least a year and a half ago. So, Horns fan, I hope that you are ready for a big, big, big day tomorrow. Yes, indeed. Army-Navy game, right? Right, Horns fan? Doesn't get any better than that. Forget all this college playoff stuff. Because I know that's what you've been waiting for all season long. So yeah, Horns fan, we've been talking about it for, actually, believe it or not, that project has been out there for a long time. It just, well, let's put it this way, it got kind of delayed by certain, I think, certain virus things and stuff like that. I think that also had a hand in pushing that project back. Horns fan, I've definitely seen it played, maybe not in the snow, but definitely in some colder weather, that's for sure. Let's put this, here we go. So I was a little disappointed that there was no playoff appearance for Army there, but I think actually they play Oklahoma, Horns fan. I think Army is playing Oklahoma, I guess in the Armed Services Bowl. Unless I'm wrong about that. Again, I don't even remember what I've already forgotten what the schedule was, and I've looked at it about 20 times. Okay, so we're getting some of that going. We're gonna have to do some of the objects, some of the glazy stuff going there, but let's also do some of this. Some orange, because that got to go here. There's a little bit of orange there. Let's filter that out this way too. Let's not snap some of this stuff off though. Alright, that's gonna... I think that's about the extent of our orange there. Yeah, that's gonna have to be about the extent of it. Maybe right about there. So yeah, Cheese Whiz, if you've got the Army Painter pledge, there is a link, and all you have to do is type in basically fluorescent oils, and it should reveal anything that involves fluorescent oils. And if you need that, if you don't have that link or whatever, you can just shoot me a message, and then I can shoot you that link. All right, we're getting there. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna maybe zoom in while we're doing this part here. Okay, what do we? Yeah, let's use this thing here. Oh, and blades. Well, here we go. Here's some fiery sources. So you see, we kind of put the orange there, right? But fire is hot. So what is hot? Well, basically blue hot. That's the hottest. Basically, that's why the hottest stars are blue supergiants, and red giant like Betelgeuse and stuff. That's a red supergiant. That's why it's the temperature actually there is much cooler. Yeah, red is actually a cooler color than blue. Believe it or not, if you can kind of interpret that. I know it's kind of weird to think that. Let me get some of my Zelmore. Actually, could you maybe shoot me an Insta message about that? Because ironically enough, I was told that Wappel was basically kind of a defunct Austrian word that meant wilderness. And what does it mean in Frisian? Wave. Kind of like how we don't say melancholy anymore. We would say depressed, right? You wouldn't say I'm feeling melancholy. You would say I'm feeling depressed or something like that, right? Or I'm feeling bummed. You would certainly probably not say melancholy. So it's kind of and actually a Armored Wolf. Remember when we were down there at Gen Con, and he looked that up and he said, yeah, because he's into languages, and he said, yeah, that is a thing. So apparently, yeah, the name Vble means a couple of different things. So that's really cool. Thanks to Zelmore, I appreciate that, because that's something I can actually tell the family. We're supposed to be doing a get together again because, well, we got the family health thing going on. We're trying to help my sister out. My sister will be very interested to hear that. So, one second. Let me scroll back up to that there. I don't want to miss that one. What was that one? So in Frisian it means wave. Okay. Hey there, Mastercrafted Alex. How you doing? Actually, does anybody have any good info on some laser etching stuff? Because I've started to look into that because I thought, well, it's been a while. Is the laser etching technology, is that starting to get to be affordable in the way that 3D printing technology did not used to be? So if anybody's got info about that, hey, let me know. Let me know. Ah, so Marco Frizzoni, meaning Marco the Frisian in Italian. Let's see. It is, and laser cutting is getting better too. So Grand Oracle, if there's anything that you suggest, or if there's something you'd say, look, this is fool's gold. Don't even bother with this. So if there's anything that get any info there, that is something that I would like to look into for a couple of different things. So Grand Oracle, if you're doing the MDF, does your entire house smell like it's on fire then? That is something that I would probably do in the garage. Now that I got that garage working, so I said kind of forgot about this. So this is what we used: Cheese Whiz, floral green, a little bit of the phthalo, and a tiny touch of that radiant green. Oh, you know what? I think I can get a little bit of my green down here too. So this is again also we have speaking of we have the oracle of the flashlight, right? So we could shine this here. Say, all right, well, what gets caught by this or by that? Now Kathy was she was studying Dutch. I think she had done a was not Duolingo, or was it Duolingo? I think she had done about 900 and some odd days of that trying to learn Dutch, and actually most of it was finding all of the similarities to German in there. Now we're going to try and get some of our lightest yellow into our source lighting again. And now we're going to try and get into some of our orange here too. Oh yeah, because you're well, it's not just one layer of wood, right? Right, Grand Oracle. So Grand Oracle, I'm just visualizing the neighbors seeing smoke pouring out of the garage, and they call me, or they call the fire department or something like that. So Zilmore says the Dutch often sounds like drunken Scottish sailors trying to speak German. Let me see if we can crank in some more. We gotta get some of our source light over there, some of it over there. Again, this is one of those beat up 18 zeros. This is a very beat up 18-0 brush that we're effectively using as a very rough dry brush right there. So Grand Oracle, let's see. Technically, in that garage right now, I have the 2 windows. I also have I have the access door, I have the party door, but I also have, effectively 2 ceiling fans. Yeah. They're not actually ceiling fans. They're those socket fans that you can just like literally put them in like a light bulb. They're not huge, but they ain't nothing. Again, Nurgle Matthew, thanks for being here. If you have to head out and get some sleep there, I understand. Appreciate you being here as always. Let me try some of this here. So Uncle Trash, hopefully you had a chance to post some of your stuff in the chat there. I wasn't sure if you did. You know what? I'm going to get to one of my better brushes here. Yeah, Hoynes fan, there's a lot of places that I think would be super, super, super fun. So a lot of the cathedral type things, I would love to see those and be able to paint those, right? Just to get out, not necessarily an easel, but just get out the paints, try and paint those things. That would be a lot of fun, I think. Get some of that Indian yellow into this mix here. Now, okay, you were able to share your Etsy there, and again, I'm glad, Electric Uncle Trash, that strike is over, so you can finally, well, kind of get down to business, right? Like literally get down to business. That's got to be a major relief for a lot of folks, because I was really starting to wonder, okay, we're what? Well, well, today's the 13th, okay. Actually, I mean, yeah, this is our definitely is our Friday here. For some reason, I thought Thursday was the 13th. Not sure why. I guess Friday was the 13th. Wow, oh, it's Friday the 13th. Unless I'm wrong. I don't think I am. Because I kept getting YouTube notifications about web streams called Friday Follies or something like that. And also some of the other Friday shows that I listen to. So I think, and well, Blades was streaming, so it's got to be a Friday. Hey there, Michael Paints Minis. Yeah, basically, I've spent the last 2 months thinking that December 13th was Thursday, and that's when the War of the Rohirrim movie was coming out, and it made no sense. Like, why in the world are they premiering a movie on the 13th? Actually, Loin, were you going to go see the War of the Rohirrim movie? I At this point, I'm not even sure I'll be able to see it in the theaters because it might be out of theaters before I ever get a chance to see it. Well, Zelmore, I hope that it's good and you have a blast. Well, Uncle Trash, I'm glad they're kind of being understanding, but you can see people that might not be, right? Unfortunately. And of course, Loim, again, I think the Christmas cards are looking great. Uh, any of the ones that you sent here have all been turned into basically permanent Christmas decorations. So very as you know, as each year goes by and the collection grows, more rooms in the house at Christmas time have one of those in them. So just wanted you to know that however many you've sent here, they still exist every year. So Loim, yeah, this one is it's a little bit of a lore breaker. We'll just put it that way. So just maybe saving you a little bit of frustration there. So again, now we've got our orange there. Now we're going to keep developing some of our greenish light here. Let's see. Let me get my paper towel over here. Now, Loim, actually, that is just fine because, to be honest, while it's neat to have stuff arrive at or before Christmas or whatever, if it arrives even in January, to me it's like, oh, we get a little bit of extra Christmas. So I do not mind bonus. That's it, bonus Christmas. That's what Kathy and I used to call it. Was bonus Christmas, like when we would go see her. If we were seeing her folks, say in December or after Christmas, we just kind of referred to that as bonus Christmas. Zelmar, oh gee whiz. I could, well, this is a home repair channel after. I have no idea. Let me see if I can. It would take a long time for me to scroll back that far, but let me see if I can find. Let me go to my files here. I actually was able to find something called hydraulic cement, and oh, I don't know, for about $22 worth of materials. I think I did something that was normally something that would cost about $1,100 or $1,200. Again, just let me, it's going to take me a while to scroll here. Let me just do the camera here and see if we can find this for you. Because again, this is a home repair channel after all. Where are we at? Okay, so we're still in November. We have a long ways to scroll here. So just bear with me here while we try and find this here. Oh, no, I think it's still, I think it's going to be too, oh, wait a minute. This might help. This might just help us here. Again, at some point, we might run across it. Oh, I thought I found it there. But it's where I did the repair, and I was hoping that you could see that series of pictures where we dig out the crack and then we fill that in. Still scrolling here. One sec. Well, we're all in September here. I think it was more August. Well, maybe we're here. Wait a second. What is that? Nope. Well, you can see right there. So there's about 2 inches of concrete there, and then there's about a 1/4 inch of rubber surface over the top of that. You can see here I'm putting on some of the rubber stuff right there. Hey there, Valfera. So actually, Michael, if you haven't had a chance to post your any of your links in the chat, could you maybe please do that? Everybody please give Michael Paints Minis a follow. Sorry there, Michael. I should have mentioned that earlier. My apologies. So yeah, basically the U.S. waterproofing guys who did not treat us very well and still asked, well, they were here for about 15 minutes. They dug a hole. They put in this powder compound, and they said that'll be $900, and then they left. And I said, I can do that. I can dig a hole. I can pour in some powder, and not pay maybe $1,100. And they made the mistake of getting greedy and constantly sending me emails saying, "Oh, yeah, you should do more of this with us." Well, they mentioned something called hydraulic cement. Now, you can't get that powder compound that they use. That's obviously a proprietary thing that they have made for themselves. However, you can get hydraulic cement. And that's what I put on that crack. I will be putting that in a couple of other places, probably later this winter. So everybody please check out that link that Michael just sent, and everybody please give Michael Paints Minis a follow. So yeah, that was me saying, you know what? And the next door neighbor, of course, he had basically cracks shown up in the same place in his house, and he had never dealt with that before. So he went ahead and paid them $1,200, and then I showed him what I did. He said, "Holy smokes," because he has at least one other one. So you can see how we're starting to get lighter with our greens there. Like I said, this is a home repair channel. We do it all here. We do absolutely everything. Because again, something like that, yeah, you're not climbing up on your roof. Well, which we've done here many times, all too many times. All you're doing is just digging out that crack with a utility knife. Now, when you put this hydro cement down there, it doesn't work like regular concrete. You have about maybe 100 seconds of working time, and you're just taking little tiny balls. If it's almost like a concrete snowball, you take that and you shove it onto that crack, and you spread it out as fast as you can, and then that's it. You do not have time to be fooling around. There is no perfect. And of course, since that's basically covered by this nasty old paneling, it didn't matter. I didn't scrape away any of the extra. I just left it there. Sorry about that, Zelmore. Yeah, Horns fan. You mix this up just as if you were making a snowball. You take a batch of it in your hands and you squeeze it between your hands. Now, of course, I'm wearing gloves while I'm doing this, and unlike a snowball, with this, when you feel your hands getting warm, that's when you know it's starting to cure, and that's when you slap it onto the wall. Well, that's from the time Zelmore, from the time you mix it, you got about 120 seconds before it cures, because well, basically you're supposed to be able to use it even if there's like water there. So Valfera, hopefully you're feeling a little bit better these days. And Valfera, of course, we have the greatest game of all, Army Navy, coming up this well, tomorrow, well, today, because it's got to be, yeah. Well, no, it's still not Saturday. And again, sorry for the later start here. I was hoping to start at 9:30. As you can see, that didn't happen. Yeah, missed it by that much. Again, we're using some of the floral green, some of the phthalo green, both of those. Now, we don't have anything up there we want. Where's my... So we had been doing kind of white, but this is almost like the same, like a warrior version here of the priest right here. So this is what we're trying to do. We're gonna get some of our darker phthalo on here, but we gotta let that set. Got this stuff set for a while. Now we gotta start working on some of these other areas here that will have nothing to do with our source lighting, right, Denethor? How you doing there, Denethor? So Denethor, if you want to share anything in the chat, like always, please go ahead and do that. Let's get some stuffs working here. There we go. That's what I need. I need some of my indigo here. We touch of indigo in on that. Still, for all intents and purposes, a dry brush. Hey there, Aaron. How you doing? Happy Thursday or happy Friday / Saturday. And of course, Denethor, you want to share anything in the chat, please go ahead, do that. So yeah, I don't use the phthalo blue because to me, the Prussian Blue just kind of does that more effectively. It's also a staining color. It tends to be on the cheaper side too. And of course, well, there's the Prussians. They're very militaristic, and well, they kind of wiped out both cerulean blue and phthalo blue, because again, that's Prussian blue. It's one of the. It's a very. It's a hard-working color. It's very industrious, but it is also very militaristic. Hey there, Artemichael. So physics. Actually, I have a. Well, it's on my Patreon page. I actually have a tutorial on how this was done. It's done the same way as all of the other bases for our Tomb Kings. So we've got that's a Green Stuff World Egyptian themed texture roller with Sculpey clay that's baked. You've got bulletin board cork. Now these are actually some 3D printed bits here, right? We've got that. We've got these columns here, so all of those are 3D printed bits. A lot of these skelly friends down here, that's all 3D printed. And it's again the same thing here, where you've got that texture roller. So it's a roller. Now here's the dwarf theme texture roller, so it's the same principle, right? So you got your Sculpey like this. It's only, as you can see, a matter of about a 16th of an inch. Well, let's see, 2/16 would be an eighth. It's like a 16th of an inch thick. And then you roll out your texture on top, you bake it, and then that way you can, you can break off pieces of it, right? I think they've got probably almost 40 of these physics. So yeah, good old Prussian blue. Now, of course, phthalo green. Essentially, you're using pigment green number 7. I think, well, I don't know what phthalo blue has pigment-wise, because it's been a while since I've used the phthalo color, so I don't know what's all in there. So Denethor, I guess, oh yeah, that's right, Bonko was streaming earlier. I did actually get to see Bonko for a few minutes there and just say howdy. I thought for sure that was a harmonica Denethor, and that Bonko was going to be playing the harmonica. I didn't realize that was a camera. I should have mentioned that to Bonko. Bonko probably would have got a laugh out of that. So it's from Marion Street. Jeez whiz. And they've got a bunch. They got magenta, blue, violet. So it's from Marion Street. So Zilmore says it is phthalo blue is blue 15. Bingo. Now again, the Marion Street stuff, it's very, very difficult to get outside the U.S. That is why I had to come up with the that other method, right, where we're using the powders and the linseed oil, because again, a lot of folks could not get that. So again, this is kind of the same principle as what we did with the moons there, right? Where we're just going to take this, and you see how we're just using this as a blending brush here. Where's, I'm just going to hit this, some lighter stuff along there too. Again, it's almost like a dry brush type of thing. So please check out that link that Zelmore just shared. Also, when you're getting your paints on the Dick Blick website, you can actually find a lot of interesting info about that paint. So like our Perlene Black, which is not black but a very dark green, that's where I learned that it was a printer's ink for many, many, many years, and then it eventually became a painter's pigment, but its original purpose was for printing. So there's a lot of fun little places like that where you can find out that information, and sometimes, right, Zelmore, it can give you a little bit of a clue You look at it and you say, aha, no wonder it works like this or like that. So that can be kind of helpful info there. You know what? Get a little bit, yeah, I'll do some of that on here too. Fine. Art of Michael, that's, how many years has that kind of shenanigans been going on for you? That it's almost like it's that time of year, which is crazy. Zelmore, really nobody does. The closest thing I found to it, which is definitely not the same thing, and we did do a video on this. It's the Courbet green. It's similar, but it's much warmer. For sure, it's much warmer than the Pearline Black, but it's the only thing that was even remotely close. So Valfera, unfortunately, I do believe they are sold out. Because remember, if bamboo is sold out of something, at least in the U.S., it doesn't show up. Yeah, you just can't get it. So yeah, sadly, I do believe that it's non-existent right now. Speaking of Prussian Blue, we're actually going to have to use the Gamlin version of that if I can actually get my hands on it. Here we go. So there's our Prussian Blue there. Okay, let me just get a little bit of this out here if I can. I don't need much. There we go. Now the Prussian Blue has definitely more of a green to it. So Celia, their Uncle Trash. And again, Uncle Trash, glad that that's finally over. And you can just kind of get back to doing what you need to do. I'm almost just doing this as kind of a glaze thing there with the Prussian Blue for right now. I wonder, no, we'll probably leave that as a gold there. Let me take this brush here. Everybody please check out that Discord link that Denethor just shared. Yeah, Valfear, they were very upset that Ultramarine Blue and Cobalt Blue, and Cobalt Blue is back in that spot again. Yeah, Valfear, that's Cobalt Blue paid the price early on, didn't it? Now, what I want to do here is take some of our asphaltum, maybe even a little bit of the Van Dyke Brown here, go heavy duty with some of this down into the crevices there on some of this stuff. So, and everybody please check out that Discord link. It's kind of wild, right, Denethor, how Discord creates those giant mega links. So you can see what it is that we're doing here with this. Again, this is the asphaltum, a little bit of our brown there. No, that's going to be more of our phthalo green down there. Bit more of our Van Dyke Brown has to work its way into this. There we are. Down into some of these crevices down here. Thanks, Armored Dwarf, for posting a link to the YouTube channel there. Again, I have this one. We took our Twitch session that was about 5 hours long, and we dropped it down to about 2 hours, 15 minutes or so. Because believe it or not, that session also had a bit of a hype train as well. And I think here we had a level 4. I think we had a level 4 hype train tonight, so again, we want to say thanks to everybody that made that possible, because that makes a huge difference. So Cheese Whiz, you can get the, well, you can get it directly from Marion Street. So maybe if you get them directly from Marion Street, it'll be a little bit easier on the shipping cost there. Well, thanks so much for being here, Loim. Appreciate that. I'll try to shoot you a message tomorrow. Actually, Loim, I spent most of the last few days printing out not just Amma and Hen, but remember in the movies, there's that kind of iconic scene from the Fellowship where they're walking by, essentially that kind of ruined, those ruins up there. I was basically printing out that in Amma and Hen. Cheese Whiz, that makes sense because several years ago when I got those, they were 15 or 16 bucks a pop. So that doesn't surprise me. Let me see. So, oh, and Loim, right now I'm printing out another. This is a new Hobbit hole. So essentially, well, it's about 3 of these combined. It's a farmer's Hobbit hole there, and I think it's going to be really, really nifty. So I'm printing out the first piece tonight. That will probably be done right around the end of the stream. It's like a 9-hour print. Let's check out what BambiCam has to say about that print. Hopefully, well, it's 47% done. And you can see there's your Hobbit hole there. That's kind of the interior there. Right, and then there's like a farm part of it on the outside.
Hello, little hobbits. Spark my guns.
Thank you so much, Fizz. Appreciate that. Physics. So, looks like you have on-camera light sourcing. Why is it that I never get my own light source? He's like, dude, what's in your hand there? He's like, oh, man, I sort of forgot. It's like, so that's a nice little glow stick you got. You're going to fight the Balrog with that, huh? He's like, yeah, well, I got this sword, too. It's like, that's a kitchen knife. It's like, no, man, it's a sword. It's really cool. It's a sword of flame. Then why is there no flame? It's like, if I knew that answer, maybe I wouldn't get killed by the Balrog. Thank you so much for that follow. Appreciate that. What's going to happen on our big Gandalf 6 here? Again, a safe roll. Not quite a 6, but a safe roll. Anytime he mentions Pipeweed, boom. That's what happens to him. Hey there, Thranual. Happy Saturday. Celia, there's Zelmar. And everybody, please check out that link there that Zelmar just posted. Please check that out and give kind words to Zelmar. Now there we go. There we are. That's what we need. That's some of our Perline Red, Perline Crimson. That's going in here. So Celia, there's Elmore. Have yourself a good one as always. Come on, a little more of that out here. And then that's what we have to do with some of our greens as well. So Thranual, I hope that the day goes well for you so far. There we go. Now we're starting to localize that glazy stuff. How's about this one? Not that one. Is this one going to be fluffy enough? Oh, no, I'm going to use this. Yeah, we're going to use our, well, relatively new filbert brush here. Denethor. I'm trying to think. Oh, I have to print out some more of these Ushabti. I'm trying to think what are some of the other major. Well, now we did the carrion birds. Oh, the scarab swarms. So Denethor, what's interesting is that I did not have the texture rollers. I did not have any of the 3D printed basing bits, so I had none of the stuff for the bases that I do now. Oh, look at this! Yeah, this is nice. So now, see my faces starting to come out there. Denethor, that one's always going to take precedence because a huge portion of that was scratch sculpted. So let's go back and we can kind of point out some of those elements there. Here was our Tomb Kings. Uh, so that is most of the original army. That's not all of it. Oh, the Casket of Souls. Not the handbag of souls, not the backpack of souls, but the Casket of Souls. That's a little inside joke. We did redo this. So we did redo this, and as much as I liked my conversions on these, see those that barding on the horses there? I actually sculpted that and made a mold of it. There's actually a step-by-step post on how that was done, and I could replicate that as many times as I wanted to with green stuff. Again, now this we have replicated, but this is the stuff here. All of that basically is sculpted right there. So the Hyro Titan on the left, the Colossus on the right, even the birdies there, those were scratch sculpted, the sphinxes and everything. And of course, well, I still have the board, but yeah, all of that stuff was scratch sculpted, and I don't have that stuff anymore, so it'd be a little bit difficult. Oh, and those bases that I made, see with the big columns on them, that was all basically sculpted by hand. So that's as much as I like these. So Fizz, that's I think it was it might have been one-page rules. Their Casket of Souls was literally like this tiny little thing, and that's why we called it the handbag of souls. Um, if there was an even smaller one, it would have to be the fanny pack of souls. That's the ultimate travel version there, physics. Yeah, the fanny pack of souls. It's if you need to carry those souls on the road and you don't have a lot of space, that's the fanny pack of souls is for you. Yeah, sorry, Cheese Whiz. That I think pretty sure that I had to shell out for the shipping too. Now, Marion Street, of course, is a very, very small U.S. company. You can kind of tell. You can tell by the labels, right? Which are clearly, done by hand. So not terribly fancy. So that's probably why the shipping is going to be more. So sadly, Velfera, they were redone, and they are no more playable than they were 10 years ago. Which is why I've already just kind of preemptively given up on MESBG, at least the new stuff, because it's basically getting Sigmar'd all over again, which is no problem, not a problem, right? Because, well, that's why I was, Velfra, I'll try and show you all these really nifty files that I got for printing out the War of the Ring board game stuff. I will be painting those, hopefully either in tutorial videos and or on stream. So at Cheese Whiz, the nice thing about the fluoro colors is that it's not just for the source lighting. There was I know I did one tutorial video, and it's up on the Patreon page, where I talked about using the fluorescence not just for object source lighting, but for non-metallic metals. Like here, right, if I wanted really, really spicy atomic golds, well, mixing, say, a little bit of the floral orange or floral yellow in with my other gold colors is really going to make that spicy. So, Thranio, hopefully we can make your commute to work a little bit more interesting, a little bit less dull, or just more relaxing. Any one of those things. Now, again, we got source lighting galore because this thing literally runs in and out of whatever this is supposed to be. Don't know. But yeah, Velfir, I knew that I saw the very first battle report when the Bretonnians and Tomb Kings first came out, and you saw battle reports involving the Tomb Kings for about a week. You could tell that the guys filming them were like, oh my gosh, how can we make this battle report last more than 2.5 turns and not make it look like we're just fudging things? And that's when I said, yep, Tomb Kings are just as they always were. And I said, okay, now we know. There, look at that. Look at that nice little bit of lighting on that piece of broken floor. Get some of that going up here. Like I said, just a series of dry brushes. So Thranio, it's non-metallic, so it doesn't matter. So that's why I said non-metallic metals. Believe it or not, because it is super transparent, like you just said, it would still actually work. It would probably, the one thing it would do, because the fluorescents, they're not exactly hardy paints. That's kind of why I like to mix the fluorescents with regular paint. It gives them a little more stability, if you want to kind of call it that. Thranduil, I'm trying to think. Well, I know I've used it. Was it with? I was on the whatchamacallits there, the Tyranids. I did sort of do that with the Tyranids, a little bit with the interference color. That's it. Now, actually, Thranduil, hey, did you get a chance to watch the rats? So hopefully the rats were helpful. Denethor, I only got to play him once in a tournament. They were basically wiped out about 2 weeks after the tournament was over. Let's see, one of my games lasted 18 minutes. A dwarf player basically shot everything off the table in less than 20 minutes. And the game was over. That was the turn. I never ate so well at a tournament. We went off, we got some food, we sat down, we watched some other people playing games. So it was the most relaxing and food-filled tournament game anywhere, but not so much with the playing of the games. Glad, Cheese Whiz. Ooh, come on, let me sneak a little bit down in there. There you go. Yeah, Thranduil, I'll try to have episode 4. Well, I'm doing episode 4 on the lizards this coming week. Let me do a little bit of there. Go some more of that. And the lizardmen, of course, that's our mega series. Now that we've done that, let me see if we can't start sneaking in some gold here up in this area here. So the magenta one, Cheese Whiz, is going to have much more function, if you want to call it that. You're going to get much more utility out of that. I don't actually have the violet one. Physics, actually, I have a massive amount of Chaos Dwarf stuff. Oh gosh, Lost Kingdoms. Yeah, printed out a ton of Lost Kingdoms stuff. I've got the Great Taurus, Charlie Brown. I've got tons of two different types of Bull Centaur. Obviously, lots of big hats. Speaking of Blood Bowl teams, that was my original, very first Blood Bowl team, the Juno Icebergs. And I actually created. I still have that stadium that I made for him. It was basically it was a hockey stadium. So yeah, physics. I've got those printed out, and well, I guess I'm just gonna go old school or old world with the basing on them. It looks like. Yeah, I think that's the basing I'll have to do on them. Is pretty much old world style. Because I didn't obviously know, okay, what sort of AOS basing do they have, but they're not in that. So now we're going to try and get, again, some of our gold in here. Oh yeah, physics, those were, that was my original Blood Bowl team, was those old, the old big hats. With the two crazy little bull centaurs and the hobgoblins. Is this also gold there? I think so. Also here, we're going to need some reflected light on that. You can see, look where I'm holding this brush. It is closer to the end of the brush than to the front of the brush. So Denethor, I did start up an army painting series with the Chaos Dwarves, but that was at the height of the not so great time there. So what I'm thinking of doing is just kind of starting up a new series, or at least just doing some, well, doing the Chaos Dwarves as Old World. So that's probably what I'll do to get the Chaos Dwarves going again, because yeah, there was two army painting series that I had going right at that time where things really kind of got nasty. So I'm thinking we're just not gonna, yeah, we're gonna just leave those packed up and not mess with those anymore. Somewhere, I don't know where they are, I actually have a bunch of the old Forge World Siege Engine Chaos Dwarfs. Again, don't know where they are. Eventually, I might run across them. So I can still go much lighter there. Actually, no, I probably want to do that alternating blue and yellow there. Is this also, yeah, and then up here somehow, okay, yeah, I'm just going to stick my finger there. Which way does that, okay, it goes this way. And then that way. And we've got one tucked in down here. It's really hard to even see what we got going on down there. We're again just trying to get me some of the gold on there. If it mixes with a little bit of the blue, so much the better there, because that'll give it that little bit of greenish tint that we need. I think there's, yep, there's a little bit of it right there too. Let me see. Velfira, you know how they're probably like 10 inches away from me? It's the age-old thing, right, Velfira? They're always like right next to me. right underneath something. So here I'm going to try and get a little bit of our gold color out here where maybe there's not as much of the source lighting stuff going on. So physics, yeah, I don't know where these are, but there was the train with the big mortar on it with the I guess the ogre that loads it. There was the flame engine type thing, and there might have been the crazy big cannon. So I'm trying to go, as you can see, I'm trying to go a little bit darker with the bone stuff there. First of all, bones really are not necessarily bleached. That's kind of your laboratory skeletons. But here, if we want to have any kind of contrast at all with our source lighting, we can't just have a bunch of bleached bone, right? That is not going to look very light if we have a very light skeleton type thing right next to it. So we can't have those both together. Boy, Velfira, I have lost like 5 minutes later. Lost things. Oh, Velfira, this should be interesting now. We're just this is a good time for a film noir. There you go. Look at that, Velfira. Look, just it's so hilarious. We can see here that there is a light versus dark difference, but look at our two light sources. Let's see. We're at about 20. No, we're about 5%. Closer to 50. Closer to 50%. There we go. That's always wild to see, right, Velfira? Let me see. I think I have the magma flame cannon, and I think the mortar. Yeah, they got the mortar. That's the one that's on the train, right? Talk about a hype train. Yeah, that would be one heck of a hype train there. Now here I'm going to use. This is our souped up umber right here. I'm going to use that up there. Oh, gee whiz, I guess I can get even more thinner into that. That's going to go up there and tint some of that stuff. So I'm not going to be painting too much on this here tail because I can see I need to use that tail as a little bit of a maul stick. Yeah, that's probably the better term for it there. Every piece is always so different, right, Velfir, and how it gets kind of impacted by something like a film noir. And there's usually some kind of surprise, right, involved at some point. We see something, we say, that's not what I was expecting. Now, where's my phthalo green here? Give me this phthalo green. You know what? Fine, I'm going to throw a little indigo green. There you go. Oh, by the way, Prussian green. Where's our failed Prussian green color? That's down here somewhere. Yeah, sadly, these guys were not as industrious as their Prussian blue cousins. Yeah, that didn't work so well. You can see just how translucent that is. So you're better off just take the phthalo green, mix it with Prussian blue, or take yellow, or sorry, Indian yellow, mix that with Prussian blue. Just use that. You're better off. But you can see what we're doing here. I'm going to do that on all these wrappings here. Because we got to get some more. Well, you must have dark to show the light also. And that's kind of what we're doing there is engineering a little bit of dark. but still giving it a little hint of that green. Like so. Where's again, our phthalo green here? A little touch of that indigo. Not too much. That's not really to make it blue, it's just to make it darker. Could use the perylene black too, I suppose. Here, yeah, fine. Maybe down here a little bit more, and then we'll get our light back in there. That's really gonna, I think that's gonna make a big difference. Some of that down here. Let me get rid of whatever that is. Big piece of fuzz. Well, Cheese Whiz, glad you're able to get your hands on those. And of course, Cheese Whiz, again, they're super translucent, but they're kind of like Indian yellow. Super translucent, but they're very thick as far as the consistency goes. Because there's people that they'll see how thick those are, like the consistency of that. Oh, these must really cover really well. No, they're the opposite of that. They will not cover well at all. So yeah, Velfira. Who would have thought that it's that range of that blue, the blue range of colors would be so such dangerous territory on the palette there. You would think that the blues would just all learn to get along. Darken this down even more. Okay, so yeah, so now our source lighting starts to show up a little bit more, and now you can see it's getting to be more like our horse there. You can see that really changed that right value as a little bit darker there. Some of that over here, where again we have a lot of light. We need at least some kind of mid-tone there, but it also has again some of that green coloration to it. I think we need to do that down here a bit. Same, and you know, oh boy, I'm tempted to throw a little bit of that perylene black. You know, I'm just going to take some of my Mars black and we'll mix that with phthalo green here. So Velfira, one of the things that makes him fluorescent, we did actually years ago when we first started messing around with the fluorescent paint. This was still acrylics. Somebody who was actually a chemist looked at it and they said, well, the nearest thing they could tell is that they're not really fluorescent. They're so translucent that they allow light to pass through, bounce off whatever, and then come back to your eyes, so that's how your eyes perceives them as this really intense color. Whereas some of your other colors, bright as they might be, like our even like the Puro orange or cadmium scarlet, whatever, because of their opacity, they trap some light. So that was it was the translucency. Thranduil, yeah, no snow here. There really has been no snow at all to speak of. Although I think we are, I forget if it's the La Nina or El Nino, whichever one, that tends to bring us more normal winters with actual snow. so funny. Uh, Velfira, I almost read that as an internet thing because again, the camera boom is blocking my chat there. Cheese Whiz. So what we did do is we added some darker glazes. So we actually made some of our darker things over the top, but I had to wait until that paint had set. So I needed to give it a good 20-ish minutes. Oh, by the way, 2 hours ago this had no paint on it. Yeah, just we're throwing that out there. Thanks, Cheese Whiz. I want to say that a little bit ago, about 10 minutes ago, but I forgot. So thanks for reminding me. Yeah, and when he was talking about it, Velfair, it really just did make sense, right? Because when you see other colors, well, what's Indian yellow, right, Velfair? It's a very intense color. Guess what? It's like the most translucent yellow there is, but it also is super heavy as far as the thickness goes, right? Really, just a kind of a weird dichotomy, isn't it? Now, again, a lot of these things they are covered on the Patreon page. You do that $15 Army Painter pledge. Get ready to binge watch because you got, geez, if it's not 2,100 hours worth now, I mean, maybe it's 2,200 hours. Yeah, I think it's time to start adjusting the 2,000 hours, don't you think, Armored Wolf? Mostly because I'm creating about 20 hours of new videos every month, in addition to all of the stuff that already exists. So again, if you've binged watched all your Netflix stuff, oh, we got you covered. For the rest of your natural life, good luck with that. You'll be watching those videos for the next 40 years. Now I'm going to try and get me some of my lighter green down here, I think. Yeah, Velfira, it's because it's going back till since 2013. That's when I first started making tutorial videos. You do that Army Painter pledge, you'll get every video that I've ever made over the last 11 years. So again, uh, maybe you'll be able to run out. I don't know. I think we calculate something like it was going to be, if you watched it nonstop, didn't even eat, sleep, or do bathroom breaks, it would still take you about 86 days or something. There might be one or two vids that you need to watch. We didn't get any of our lighter stuff over here. Holy smokies. We need a bunch of lighter green over there. So yeah, Cheese Whiz, in some ways I like the stuff that I mix myself a little bit better. However, there is the convenience of just, I'm just going to pull this tube of paint out here. I'm just going to squeeze some of it on the palette and boom, I'm done. So something to be said for convenience. Once again, this is going to need more of our lighter green over here. Didn't really see this before. Is that another little face in there, I think, maybe? Take that one, we'll use it as a little bit of a blending brush right there. Okay, not gonna do anything on this because I'm gonna be sticking my hand there several times. Cheese Whiz, some might say lazy, others might say that's the economy of effort. There you go. You're conserving effort. That's not lazy. You're just conserving effort. That's all. That's effort conservation. It's very strategic. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna bounce a little bit of that up there too. Thranio, it's one of those things where I think the more familiar you are with, okay, this is what it should end up being, the easier it is to do that when you haven't really, when you've used regular oil paints for years and years and years, you just kind of, you have a little bit of an expectation. You say, well, it's got to be in the neighborhood of this at least. And that's, well, it's kind of like, well, with computer stuff, printing stuff. If you never printed anything before, how in the world are you supposed to know? It's like, well, is this what it's supposed to be like? You just kind of, at least at first, kind of stabbing in the dark there a little bit. Throw a little bit more of our green onto this column. And there, I know you can't even, well, you could actually see that maybe a little bit. Yep, Cheese Whiz, we've got a whole weathering workshop video series, plus there's all of the, some of the vehicles workshop vids. But yeah, there is, it is called Weathering Workshop, I believe. Funny you should mention that, Cheese Whiz, because this here might just be for, instead of maybe Vehicles Workshop, maybe this will be in the Weathering Workshop right there. So don't be surprised if there's a new one that pops up. You'll be like, oh, look at this. It's like a special request. Yeah, thanks to Annual. Yeah, we got the Vehicles Workshop series, which, well, that's definitely going to entail some weathering, no doubt about that. A little too much, dear. I'm just going to whisk some of that away. That's mostly Van Dyke Brown. That's maybe throw a little bit more of this even dark down in here. Maybe even do a little bit of that darker edge there also. Gonna make that edge a little bit darker. Blending brush, fine, this will work. See that? Now this gets lighter by default. Where's, I think I'll use this. Also, again, as a bit of a blending brush right there. So yeah, 2 hours, 8 minutes ago, and a level 4 hype train. None of this existed. So in reality, we've really been painting about an hour and 45 minutes. Just throwing that out there. Now that we've gotten this dark over here, plus the fact that it has had a chance to set, I think we can do some lighter stuff over here. And again, hashtag no layers, of course. That is significantly lighter than what's there. We're just going to rely on, again, doing some wet blending with what's here. Yeah, Thranio, it's so wild to think of how many topics have been covered over the last 11 years of making these videos. So physics, I never, with the oils, they're so rugged, they are so durable. I never bothered to do the sealing stuff. There are times, though, certain colors, and ironically enough, phthalo green kind of can be one of those. It can tend to dry on the shinier side. Sever's Blue is another one, and even this one here, because I use the cobalt, there's going to be a little bit of shiny on that when it dries. So when that happens, I got this over here. This is the Army Painter Anti-Shine. 1 second, can't reach that with that brush in my hand. I'll just brush a little bit of this on, and that's all it takes. Because yeah, Sever's Blue, that is definitely one of those colors that holy smokes, does it have a bit of a shine on it. So Cheese Whiz, I'm never using black for that. Obviously here in our source lighting areas, we would want to use something that's more towards the green. Down over here, that's where I was using the more of a burgundy type color, essentially perline red mixed with the Van Dyke brown. So yeah, we're seldom, if ever, using the black. Pretty much never. Again, because that's just kind of a dead color. We want to every shadow would have some kind of a color to it. Like here, we've got the phthalo green. We've mixed that with the Mars black, so that we actually have a color there. Because we always want to have a color. We don't want something devoid of color. Hey, Three Geese, how you doing? So Three Geese, hopefully you are not heading south for the winter. But great to see you there. Of course, yeah, I'm still thinking about food, so I was thinking three cheese. I was actually, oh, was it the three milk cheese or something like that? Three milk, three cheese, whatever. Oh, it's the three milk cake. That's it. Yeah, that was one of Kathy's thing. Was the favorite things was the three milk cake. We were gonna try to get this source lighting. See now, because we have the darker stuff in there that actually shows up more. So the people next door to us, when they used to own their bakery, we used to go over there, and they knew that that was one of Kathy's favorite things. They knew I had a couple of favorite pastries. I would actually cut their grass for them because they were very busy working day and night at the bakery, and they would actually knock on the door and show up the next day with a big old box of our favorite pastries. So see you later, Cheese Whiz. And again, I hope that you enjoy the floral colors. And again, don't that green if you want to make. Well, obviously, we've used that green for our object source lighting and such, and of course the magenta, we've used that for source lighting. But yeah, don't be afraid to mix it with regular colors for just making something that's not object source lit be that much more intensely pigmented. Also, again, keeping in mind that they are hyper translucent. We need more light down in right on this. Also, up there, we need some here. Let's see. So Three Geese. Yeah, sometimes Three Geese. It's fun to have again some variety in those greens. So You know, if you're going to be doing some glazes over the top, maybe some greens that almost have a little bit of a brownish color in there. Maybe some greens that we like to have a little bit more of a warmth to them. And then you also have kind of dirtier greens. Pretty much the greens that we've got here, these are a bit more towards the cooler side of things, and they're also very saturated. I need to get a little bit more dark going here. Maybe let's try that. On this rib over here, because then our light will actually show up a little bit more. Yep, 3 cheese. I know a lot of people there. Well, we always called it shaded base coat, and that's, well, we kind of have a version of it with the oil painting now. But yeah, I would never just do one flat brown or one flat green. I would always try to have a couple of little different things in the base coat. So it would be multiple colors in that base coat. And that really, it does elevate things quite a bit. You would think, is it really going to make that much of a difference? It really actually can make a decent amount of difference. What we got going on here? Let's just put a bit more of our darker greens here, where we've got the crazy little faces and such. Now, actually, well, 3 cheese, you can kind of do both, actually. When I would base coat, I mean, it wasn't like the way people base coated, where they, okay, here's all this neat little area of color here and a neat little area of color there. It's almost more like what we did here with the much larger brushes, like the filbert brushes and such. And the whole idea of there, again, was to get as many different colors, as much variety in as many areas as possible. Sometimes it's fun to have more of a, if you have a green that's already there, it's more fun to have a brown as the glaze color over that, and sometimes vice versa. If you got a bunch of brown in that area, maybe that's where you do some glaze of some green. And let me darken that down a little bit. Same over here. Now, Denethor, I wasn't sure if you've actually had a chance to do some painting slash sculpting streams yet. Ooh, you know what? We got to get ourselves a little bit of Source Lady stuff going on here. That's supposed to be metal. Should be catching some of that greenish light too. See if we can do that here. Well, 3 geese. I hope that goes very well. Wishing you all the success there. And of course, 3 geese, you could also maybe try that on, if you got, say, Reaper Bones minis, whatever, something that is not maybe the miniature that you're working on at the moment there.
Spark my gun, John.
You give it a shot on that thing. You say, okay, I learned something here. I will try this, on my next thing. And kind of, again, no harm, no foul. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, 3 geese. Okay. This is almost like Rogaine Lightning, man. I think he's on performance enhancing drugs. And what are you talking about? We're talking about do we have him here? No, I wish I had him. I don't have my my old Army of the Dead horses. So thank you so much for that follow. What's going to happen here on our big old Gandalf 6? What's going to happen there? Oh, look at that. First Gandalf 6 of the night. So have fun there, three geese. Now, what I might be doing here in a few minutes is we're going to try and refresh that medicine because, well, we had ourselves some hype train activity, and well, that tends to go through, tends to roll through that our medicine a little bit faster than usual. So yeah, we might have to go replenish that. So sad, right? So sad, have to replenish that medicine. Again, it's not because we enjoy it or anything like that. It's purely for the good of the stream. We're always thinking of other folks. Can I get me a little more, again, reflected light on that part of the tail? Don't want to do too much here. Again, nothing up there because almost certainly I'll be just setting my hand on that again and just wipe it out. This is not our lightest green over here either. We can certainly go lighter than this. Oh, gee whiz, definitely got to go lighter down in here. Holy smokies, yeah. I mean, that is right where our source lighting is there, so it got to be lighter. Here, I'm going to go even a bit lighter right down in there. Again, this it is a little bit complex because we have the source lighting wrapping around inside our object, inside and out. And it definitely makes, we need to, here, let me just stick my hand on that here. We need to get a bunch of our light down in here on this thing. Okay, there we go. So yeah, all of this starting to make a little more sense now as we get more and more into all of our lighter green reflected colors on all these areas. Not so much over there. Definitely on this side though. We're also going to try and catch a little bit of that on his staff there. Also, there's a piece of cloth there. There's also his scabbard. This will cast a bit of a shadow on some of this though. This is going to be also our we need reflected light there anyway, but now we really got reflected light because we have that light source underneath there. Catch on the underside of his fingers. The interesting thing about what would you say I almost said Lost Kingdom, the Titan Forge approach to the Tomb Kings was that they were more mummies. I think that there are things that are in the army that are just basically straight up skeletons. But, well, take the horses, for example. Get more of a mummified kind of a thing. So there was our Titan Forge horses. Remember, we did another. What the heck is the name of that? I always forget. Oh, not Sekhmet. It was Cetra. That's it. Yes. Yeah, he had 4 of those horses. So we used the old metal GW fig, and then put the new horses with that. They were certainly, we did show the old Cetra. He was the X Cetra. Yeah, the old Cetra, the X Cetra. Probably going to get me some more glazing stuff into that too. Need to start thinking about some lighter blues in there. That'll be our Prussian Blue. Get some of this now. Gonna have to break that down. It's way too thick. Probably a little too light at this point. Okay, now we're starting to get a little bit of our blue in here. Kind of a mid-tone blue, I think, at this stage. Take this same stuff, not that light. We got the shield here. Let's see if we can get some of these little triangles with the blue on them here. Other parts of the triangle, get the red. Leave that be. Yeah, a couple areas here I'm just going to have like even this. I wanted to set my hand on there, so I'm just going to not bother painting some of that, because it'll just get wiped away anyhow. Try and work a little bit of that blue into the cloth there. Blending brushes here. I'll be able to get some more of my really light color on the, speaking of that cloth. Breaking down some of that fast matte white here. There we go. Let's do this here. Yeah, I actually, what was the other one I just printed out? I think I still have parts of that to print out yet. That's the new one, the Four Seasons. Obviously, the winter one. I think I've printed out half of it so far. I completely forgot about the rest of it. Well, it got warm here, which meant all of a sudden my printing area got too cold. Yes, I know that's a weird thing. My printing area is essentially adapted for printing in real winter, not faux winter. So if it's too warm and the heater's not going off, then the printing area gets mighty frosty. Now let's do a quick little Bambi check here. What you doing for us, Bambi? This is a Bambi cam here. We're about 70% done. Oh wow, I was only 2% off again, so 72% done with our newest Hobbit hole there. It's basically printing out essentially this piece, basically the living quarters. So something along those lines, a piece just about like that. Now, if we're painting that one up on stream, I think that's going to be something I paint on the on my Patreon, just again to be able to fit it on screen. Whereas the other Hobbit holes, I could just barely squeeze them onto on my camera here on stream. So yeah, now we're starting to get some of those lightest lights there in our source lighting. Ooh, Jet, that sounds really good. That sounds fantastic. Now I only, let's see, I don't know how many Nerixon has in total. I've got at least a decent portion of them. Haven't actually been able to paint any of them yet. I did, one of them, a couple of them did show up in a video though, where I was doing some gap filling. So technically I have filmed at least one of them. I'm gonna catch a little bit more of my lighter stuff over here. Same thing maybe with this. So I'm just giving this up here because I gotta rest my hand somewhere. I'm just gonna say the heck with this. I can always drop some quick little light stuff on there later. Even this is not straight up white. There's a little tint of green in this. Just not much, but there is a tint of green in there. Now, of course, obviously you could do texture on that this cloth over here if you want to do that like a whatever. But I tend to avoid doing the textured cloth on this scale of miniature since it's very hard to see. I mean, I don't know if I can get. So, okay, there's some cloth. It's very hard in one-to-one scale to see any kind of texture in that cloth. And this is not the smoothest cloth ever. Now, make it a fraction of that size. Make it effectively about 1/48 scale. And say, yeah, I'm not so sure you could see that texture. So if you're wondering why I don't do that too often, that's just one of the reasons why. Again, there's nothing wrong with it because it can be a really fun thing to do. It looks neat. So no problem with it. It's just I tend to not do the textured cloth stuff. We have done it. We've done it on Gandalf and on Saruman. You can see we did textured cloth there. I think that one's even up on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Armored Wolf, for posting a link to the Patreon page. Again, you do that Army Painter Pledge level. You got some videos to watch. It's going to take you a while. And just when you think you're done, I'm going to drop a new one on you. I think the latest new video just came out yesterday, day before. And what is it? Well, tomorrow and Sunday I'm going to be filming the next one. So that most likely on Monday there will be yet another new video posted to the Patreon page. So yeah, Grand Oracle, probably the next one I want to do. I don't know if it would be an airbrush workshop. It'll be taking that, what the heck is it? That gigantic Smaug dragon and taking the primer, basically doing primer painting with the airbrush on Smaug. And Smaug has a wingspan of at least 2 feet. He weighs a ton. And actually, Grand Oracle, since we tested this stuff, I keep forgetting who sent me this, but this stuff actually worked really well for doing some masking stuff. So I'm actually going to try to maybe go a little bit more intense in the painting aspect with the airbrush too. And then the oils kind of end up being sort of a final details kind of thing that we throw on there. So amazing. This was kind of interesting because we have these 2 different light sources here. And boy, there was all kinds of dry brushy stuff going on at the start. Oh my goodness. There was a lot of dry brushy stuff happening. Then we kind of started getting into more of the glazy kind of stuff. And now we're kind of maybe making some modifications, some adjustments. Like here, I still have to get the red in there. But first, I'm going to do the lighter Prussian Blue. Let me see, Grand Oracle. I do believe I think it was the first time I've ever been able to film that Grand Oracle was the paper towel masking technique. Yeah, it was the first time I could ever film that, I think. So I was kind of happy about that. That was fun. I've been doing the paper towel thing with the airbrush stuff since, well, since the old 2D art days. So it was pretty fun to get to actually film that. What are we doing here with this? Looks like I still have some. Yes, I still have some of my oh no, that's the Perline Crimson. Let's grab the Perline Red instead. We'll just throw some of that in there. Alright, let me see if this is going to work. That is not going to work with that piece of fuzz. Get rid of that. So Grand Oracle, think of it as a more involved version of what we did with all of the Fell Beasts. So if you remember Grand Oracle, the Fell Beasts, there was not a whole lot that I had to do on those because I had done some almost like, what would you say, some of the opposing colors already. So yeah, that was pretty neat, and I want to basically take that and take it that much further with the Smaug here. Then the base, well, that's why it's going to be a continuing series because I have to paint the base separately. It's going to be like when we did the dragon. Oh, by the way, speaking of dragons, Vble redid their Moria dragon. I mean, we only painted one of those back in October. I guess we're going to be painting another one in January, probably. Going to try and get me some of that orange up there in these. That there gold. Come on. Over here. Get in there. No problem there, Jet. No problem. Let me get some lighter. Do I use this? No, that's too orangey. Let's try this here. Gotta rejigger this brush right here. Maybe that's going to work. Over here. Come on. Get that snuck in there. What's going on under there? Do a little bit of this. So yeah, Grand Orga. It was fun to just remember all of the hyper glazy stuff we were doing on the Fell Beasts. That's kind of what I'm sort of thinking about for Smaug there. And then remember the markings that we kind of did a little bit of the dry brushy stuff to create. That was another thing I was kind of hoping to do on Smaug, just at a massive level. But that was why I wanted to get this new area constructed, because I will need every nanometer of that space to try and get him to fit on there. So Grand Oracle, the Liquitex inks, but those dipping inks, the dipping inks, they're kind of neat, Grand Oracle, because they're they have a little bit more of a muted thing to them. So the inks kind of do the intense stuff. And then those other ones, again, those are a little bit more subdued, which is, it's kind of a neat little, I'm going to be doing probably the next airbrush vid, we'll be doing just terrain. Now, we did a hint of it with that elf building. But needless to say, we're going to be doing a bunch more. So yeah, Grand Oracle, the Liquitex inks, fortunately none of those seem to be shiny at all, which is fantastic. That's definitely a relief. Boy, I'd like to get a little something more in there. Now, let me get some more of my light up here on the end of his staff up there. Let me see what we can do with that. We've been, that's right, we were using the our fabulous not burnt umber, mixing that with some of our white. We need a little something down there, not too much. We don't want it to look metal, or look like metal, sorry. Lighten you up a little bit. There again, something under there. Now let's try to. Nope, I'm gonna use this. Again, look where my hand is on this brush. It's the only way I can get to this. Trying to get some of my lightest light right along this edge over here. So welcome back there, Jet. It seems like the reboot was successful. Now, Grand Oracle, as crazy as it was trying to get that video filmed, it was kind of neat to have basically like a whole new category of vids now. So it's gonna, I think I'm gonna be able to have a lot of fun with that, Grand Oracle. Well, also too, what did we say? Oh, the ulterior motive is, well, we got a lot of stuff that's got to get painted, and the only way it's gonna get done or started or whatever is that method with the doing the airbrushy stuff. Some of it might also be in conjunction with the well, some of it would have been done with the spray cans, right? The acrylic spray cans, but well, when it's 5 degrees outside, they ain't gonna work so well. So at least we got a little something up there now. A little something there. So yeah, Grand Orca, looking forward to doing a bunch of primer painting. I have a whole bunch of vehicles printed out. That one that you saw in the video, I've got at least 6 more printed out. Actually, there's that that Eldar vehicle that I wanted to do the spacescape on. I think you know where I'm going. And then again, all those Imperial vehicles. So now we got some of our red and blue in there. Old Grand Oracle, that's right. I do believe that's on its way here. I think it has actually been shipped. The Gariza, whatever that airbrush with the siphon feed, that's coming this way. So that's going to be another video all on its own. There we go. Now we got ourselves some reflected light here on this shield. That's good. You know what? This needs a little bit more light going down here. It's a whole light sourcey thing right there. You know what? Yep, that's gonna catch some of that light over here. Oh, geez, also over here. Holy smokes! Yeah, little correction right there. Yeah, Grand Oracle. Now it might. I may have to do a voiceover. You know, if I'm going to be using that siphon feed, that's going to be spitting out an awful lot of paint. So I might have to be wearing a mask for that. I think, Grand Oracle, you heard about how I want to do a video on making your own airbrush booth, which I could not think of the stupid name of it while I was filming. Probably because it was 7 o'clock in the morning. And I don't mean that was the first thing I did that day. That was still the last thing I was doing that day. Well, I'm pretty much going to be staying up. Oh, that's right. Yeah, after the stream started, I'd probably be doing an all-nighter. So I might be able to get a whole nother thing filmed. Who knows? That's right. Going to have to do an all-nighter this Saturday. So I'm kind of glad, Blades, that this Sunday is not the Council of Miniature Painters. Yeah, that works. Couple more Dirks on. Yeah, there. I don't want to go too much more with the light because, again, our source light not going to stand out very well if we do that. And I use all sorts of different brushes for blending brushes. Any brush can be a blending brush. Now up here, speaking of some blending, just going to take the edge off of some of those. Brush strokes there. In some ways, all it really is just maybe getting rid of some extra paint or whatever. And that's it. Down, and I think this area is another place where I might one last little shot here of some new fast matte white for some of our lightest light stuff here. All right. There it is. That is going to go in this area here because that is just a whole lot of, we got a bunch of middle tones. We don't really have any light or any dark in there. It's one of the only areas really where we're left with something, a situation like that. So let's take care of that here. So that hopefully starts to stand out a little bit more. We're going to need now, we'll back off to more of the floral green. I literally just got 2 fingers on the brush, that's it. Just those 2 fingers on the brush. That probably should also get a bit more again of the green there. take that little bit of the dirt out there. Now let's go back to the to our white there. Down into here, good. Okay, and there's another, yeah, there's another part of this over here that we probably should get some more of our lighter green too. Let's do that. Over here. We sorta were getting into it there. Some of these areas are gonna be a little bit hard to get to. Now here, boy oh boy, I need to get some kind of not green ambient, at least mid-tone. So that's very like a dirty ochre-ish type color that I'm using right here. But then here, see, some of the green starts to hit that, so we there's only just a few of these little vertebrae here that are going to get this again. Not object source lit color. Have to make sure that that does not get too light, because if it's lighter than our light source, we have successfully created object source shading, which is not very successful. We don't want that. This thing up here, let me take some of my, okay, there's a whole bunch of thinner in that, but I'm taking some of the indigo, put that in here, and then we'll use this blending brush here, and hopefully that is going to get into that lighter tone and just mix on its own. That's what I wanted. Some of that might be a little lighter than I want, so I'm going to take that. Okay, it's got some of that indigo in it. I'm looking at this down here now. I'm going to leave that alone. I was going to take some of my green and put over the top of that. However, some of the lighter stuff here, some of this lighter stuff, let me get that right over here. A little bit of the floral green, so that's not just, we don't want it to just be white. But now that's got a little bit of brightness to it, because we have that firelit area so close by here. Let me just get rid of this. There's some of the asphaltum got onto that brush. Let's bring this over here. Because the floor next to it, now that's going to need to be lightened up here. Let's do that. Let's do that down here again. Got to extend that brush out as far as I can. Hands nowhere near that metal ferrule. Otherwise, not really going to be able to do this. There's one part of this floor. There we go. Okay, we got a little bit of that green. This brush has no paint on it. This will be a blending brush. Look at that. See, the little sneaky advantages that the oils give you is, well, this is there is no sub-assembly on this, except maybe you stick him on there, maybe the head. There's no sub-assembly on this. You got to paint it all together. Now, maybe you don't have to paint it on the base. However, this is not on the base while you're painting it. You might have to be repainting a lot of this source lighting. Now, areas that are hard to get to are less hard to get to with the oils, as you saw, because all I had to do was just stick some paint on there, grab another brush, and then just do some, essentially some wet blending right there on the surface. A little bit of a mind shift that you have to do if you're going to be working with the oils and want to take best advantage of them anyways. And again, we don't do the layers, hashtag no layers. Sometimes the color is either dramatically lighter or darker, either way. Since all we have to do is just plop that color on there and then push it around. Where's one of our Bretonians here? So this right here, that took less than 30 seconds to do because we just plopped some of the magenta on there, plopped some turquoise, took a blending brush, again a color brush that is relatively soft and has no paint on it, and then we just sort of push those areas of color together. Didn't have to worry about mixing, well, how much of this into how much of that. We just said, okay, we're going to plop this over here, going to plop this over here, and then we're just going to let them mix together on the miniature, see what happens. And again, we've got hundreds and hundreds of tutorials on the Patreon page. We're definitely now well over 2,000 hours worth of tutorial videos there. And it covers everything. Covers basing, oils, acrylics. I just did my first airbrush video for the Patreon page. So there's terrain, basing. We have our Army Painter series. So there's plenty of content for you there. Now let me reconstitute that brush a little bit. Again, this is one of the Princeton brushes. That all of them are synthetic, no sable brushes. Stopped using those years and years ago. Just using the synthetics, the filbert brushes, these liner brushes. Okay, well, we already hit that side. Pretty well lightened up, didn't we? Try this edge again with this lighter stuff. And not gonna really do too much with the rust and such on the spears there, cause well, desert and all. I suppose. Okay, fine. We'll make this a little lighter down here too. Was not really thinking that initially, but better do that. Anything? Yeah, let's do some more of this. That is really right next to our source lighting there, so I might also... Yep, I'm gonna get some of my dark here. Let me take some of my phthalo green. Sneak this brush in here. Alright, that's what I needed to do. Maybe some dark over there. Yeah, something like that. Let's knock that down a little bit. And we'll do this. Take a little bit more of that darker green up onto that. Let me see. I don't know how much of this lighter color I can sneak in here. It's a tough angle trying to get at this stuff in here. We'll give it another shot though. So it's right in here on that shield. It is sort of in shadow for the most part, so I don't really have to go too bonkers. Trying to get lots of highlights in there. I think we got it. I think we have that now. What about this this brown ochre color? It's one of those intense colors, but it's also really, it's kind of on the thicker side too. Very deceptive. Okay, I think we got that going a little bit better now. So again, 5 hours ago, 5.5, but no, almost, well, now we're getting closer to 6 hours ago. That's when we first started slapping some paint onto this. All done with the oil, start to finish. Maybe, okay. Every time I keep doing that, I bump into that little thing on his head there. You know what? That needs a bit more light. Okay, I can do that. Yeah, alright. I'll say that's good. Let me take this tan color here. Now, let me get some more of the brown. We'll just chuck that in there. This is where I've been sticking my finger, as you can see on my hand there. Now, of course, you could, everybody, 3D printing like this, you're going to have those nitrile gloves. Lots of people seem to have them. You don't want to get paint on your fingers, yeah, just wear the nitrile gloves. In this case, it'll take me about 45 seconds and some hot water and dish soap, and all that will be easily washed away. Now it gets in your clothes, it's a little different story, and that's where maybe the glove comes in handy, because now you just take that glove off and you don't have to worry about inadvertently touching your clothes or something and getting some of that on your clothes.